Okay, so part of this is also, at least in the United States, is a timing bet. So we have a bet over on Predicted, one of our great national institutions, as to whether or not Boris Johnson will stay through August. And I know today, as of recording, the rumor is that he would be a caretaker into September, as long as he just, basically stayed in his cage, didn't do anything, didn't say anything, didn't change any policy, etc. So are you buying that take, this market favorite that Boris Johnson will stay in office through August?
Well, there's a lot to unpack there, and it's all dates because we have some Betfair markets as well. For example, we have will he still be leader at the conference, which is October the 2nd?
Yes.
And we also have Prime Minister after Boris Johnson, which is, you might think, is just a leadership contest, but it isn't, because were Boris Johnson to leave the job before a replacement is found, was elected, someone will have to take it on as a caretaker.
Yes.
Right? Now, first of all, yes, only yesterday, there were scores of Tory MPs saying he cannot carry on. We cannot carry on. We've got to have a caretaker Prime Minister. He's finished. We can't. It's just 3 months is too long. That has calmed down a bit today, but there is a looming problem next week for them, because Labour have committed to, they say, if you don't get rid of him, we will call a vote of no confidence in the House. Right? Now, they haven't got the numbers on their own, but it would only take 32 Conservative MPs out of 359, 1 in 10 to flip, and that's him gone. And there are things, I can't overstate the level of scandal. It's so reminiscent of Trump, where there's stories that you think that's the biggest story I've read in politics in 10 years, biggest scandal, and that's 9 in the morning. By 11 o'clock, you've forgotten about it. Something else has happened. And it's been like that. And now, if he's actually resigned, there is a pile of everything's coming out. And one of the things that came out on the day he resigned is the confirmation after 4 years of blocking it, denying it, calling people conspiracy theories and saying it, was that when the Russians, when the former Russian agent was poisoned in London,
yes,
there was a NATO meeting, and he left that NATO meeting without abandoned his security and his officials, and went to the Italian mansion of a former KGB officer to arrange a private call with Sergei Lavrov. He's admitted this out and those of us I've been going about this for years. It's massive national security scandal, and he just admitted it 2 days ago out of nowhere. And Labour are piling on about this, and I'm thinking that next week we could well see an emergency vote on that on, say, Monday or Tuesday, to trigger a vote of no confidence, at which time Tory MPs will just be like, well get rid.
I mean, is there a possibility, though, like, we know that irresponsible people can get elected to office. We know that very well in the United States. We also know that people who have borderline dementia can hold the office too. So is it possible that Boris Johnson just has dementia and had a senior moment and sleepwalked over to the Russian foreign minister's house to, give him like the nuclear missile codes or the location of the submarines or something? Like, maybe he just thought it was his mom or something.
Boris is a party animal. Yeah. That's who he is, right? And as the excellent London grad documentary and Lebedev documentaries that are on at the moment over here show, the way that the London grad thing was built was with parties. It was they hosted, the Lebedevs came to London and held the wildest, the most exclusive parties in the capital. And Boris Johnson became mayor of London, and he was there all the time. That's his circle. Power in London is
maybe he was 2016ish, like maybe he was playing Pokemon Go, like he needed to get a Pokemon in the Russian foreign minister's office. I think that's very relatable. He could call a snap election if that's true and probably get reelected, because we were all playing Pokemon Go.
It was reported at the time that it was for a Bunga Bunga party.
Oh, okay. All right. Bunga party. Okay. All right. So I'll stop bullshitting you for a second here. So what you're telling me is that we should take seriously the possibility that Boris is removed from office by a vote of no confidence because more scandals are coming out, and there are logically enough votes in the Conservative Party to join, what do we call Labor, to join Labor and getting this guy out of office. So paying 65, these implied odds of like 65% chance of Boris sticking around might be a little bit high, or am I putting words in your mouth?
You are, because it's a thing that I find it very hard to see how this temporary arrangement is sustainable, not least because of the scandals and because he's so discredited, but also because all of his cabinet, or half his cabinet, are running for the leadership.
Yeah.
And it's a bizarre situation, right? You've also got some arch loyalists who are generally hated everywhere else who have now been promoted. So it's going to be difficult. But all I'm saying is I'm also thinking, if there was a vote of no confidence next week, I reckon on Betfair it would be 5-1, 8-1 to pass.
Really? Why?
Because this is just the nature of it. These markets always underestimate rebellion or change. It's such an outlandish thing to happen. It's such a extreme event that.
Oh, I see what you're saying. You're saying it would be that it's more likely.
It would happen. I think. I mean, they don't even have to, if you work it out, they don't even have to vote with Labour. If all the other opposition parties voted, and 100 Tory MPs just said we're going to abstain, that's it, done. He's gone, and then they can pick a leader the next day.
Yeah, I think that's a very keen insight of yours that I want to underline, which is I think many good bettors are good at betting the trend and understanding the trend, but like not many people have your eye for the trend is about to end. Like what we thought is about to stop being true, and so I do think that's a keen insight that markets will probably undervalue the possibility of a vote of no confidence if it's threatened. Now, can I throw out one other word that we hear about British politics that I don't actually know what it means, and you can tell me if we should be weighing this into our risk pool? Do you know what word I'm going to use?
No.
Snap election. Is Boris going to call a snap election, whatever that is?
No. He could do it in theory, right? But it would be, he's not going to do it. He has said repeatedly he won't do it. I think he might have used it as a threat to rebel MPs, but they just wouldn't let him. We're not a presidential system.
Yeah.
They wouldn't let him. The party wouldn't allow it. Just on that front.
Could you stop there? So the party has to allow it? Like he has to call on Parliament and Parliament would say, fuck off?
He has to...
Piss off, they would say.
No, but the point is, if he approached this cabinet with that crazy idea, I think every single one of them walks out there and then, and he is within an hour. I mean, look, I may be wrong about that. We've never been in that position, right? But he's not that mad. It's not. We're not in a. I still don't believe we're in a Trump situation.
Right, Trump would do that, and then he'd say,
100%. Yeah.
He'd say, call up Dominic Cummings or someone and tell him to find some fake votes.
Yeah. No, I don't think Trump's going to do anything, but Boris will do anything stupid like that. I think that. I think he's just going to hate this whole period. That's the other reason to think maybe he doesn't last till September, because he's just going to hate this.
Right.
No power, humiliated, if any of your viewers have got access to Betfair, so there's a couple of interesting things here. Two really extreme bets you can have. I just think you'll make some money trading. So first of all, on that potential outcome, you can back Dominic Raab at about 28-1 to be the next Prime Minister. If Boris Johnson does step down, Dominic Raab will have a 60-70% chance of being the next Prime Minister. Because he's
just the responsible guy that would be the caretaker or whatever.
He's the deputy Prime Minister. So anyone else is going to get the job, you're going to have to budge him out of the way.
Yeah.
And I mean, there are other ideas like Theresa May being brought back temporarily or something, but it would probably be that. But so buying Raab at 3.5% when you've got all of this drama to play out over the next couple of months, I think is a good one. But on the other extreme, we have at Betfair have a market on will he be leader at the Conservative Party conference, which is the 2nd of October.
Okay.
Now, he says he wants to stay till then, and thinking about the timetable for the time it takes to run this election, it's a tight call getting it done before October the 2nd. And I'm thinking that there is a very reasonable chance that it will indeed be then, and Boris will say his goodbyes at the start of the conference, and then they'll announce the result.
Oh.
Right? That's happened before. Labour did that once, right? When they elected the leader. Now, on Betfair, that's 20-1.
Yeah.
It's 20-1 to last till the conference.
So your working conspiracy theory is that they'll basically count the votes at the conference. Boris will be the party leader at the beginning. He'll kiss the sky, say goodbye, wave deuces, and at the end of the conference, they will anoint a new conservative.
Or at the start, even at the start, I would say, yeah, literally, it's whatever, 3 days, 4 days.
Yeah.
Boris Johnson opens it, says his goodbyes, announces. Then they announce the winner, and then the new leader governs through that conference. That is what Labour did once about 12 years ago. And it just with the timing of it all, because first you've got to have all these rounds of voting with MPs. Yeah. Then you've got to send ballots out across the country. You've got to have hustings at hundreds of Conservative clubs all around the country.
Yeah.
It's a minimum. It's surely a minimum 9-10 weeks.